Here is the staging server on Heroku, as you can tell. And yesterday we connected this area right here for a section where you can present the current what's called lines in gambling vocabulary. So what we need to do now is hook up the login flow. Right now I can't log in, I can only join. So let's go ahead and get that started. I'm going to open up the code. Here it is right here, and I'm going to cd into the directory. So let's go ahead and get that going. And I'm going to run it local. So I'm running the local Bongo server. And let's make sure everything works on local. So here we go. And I'm not logged in on local either. So let's go ahead and set up a login prompt. I think what I'm going to do is create a email password link right prompt form right there. And that'll be how users can log in. So this is inside the nav component. So if I open up the src components and then containers, I'm in the nav component right now. This is the nav component. So let's go ahead and find that guest button. Let's see here. And right here is the login link. All right, so let's go ahead and set up a form. And these are going to be text inputs. And the first one will be for the email. And then one for the password. Obviously, this is a password input so that the text characters are concealed. And then let's put in a button here. Yeah, let's just go with button. Let's go with log in. And then let's get rid of the previous login hyperlink. And then I'm going to run the dev script. So npm run dev. That way we don't have to rerun the build every single time. I think that was a bit of overkill last time. So this will be a little bit easier to keep development going. Okay, let's see how that looks. It doesn't look very good. Let's see here. So instead of guest, let's get rid of that and let's replace it with login. That'll make it easier to see. And then in here, let's see. All right, let's see if we get rid of this class right here. What happens? This W100 thing. All right, it gives us a little bit more room to work with. So I'm going to get rid of that. It probably stands for width 100. And then I'm going to give it a style with a padding of 6. Let's see how that looks. Let's do that inline here first, just to see how that comes out. Padding 6px. That's a little bit better. And then let's give it a background color of, let's try that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, let's go with that. I think that'll work out better. So let's go with a padding of 6 and background of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then here, I don't know if this theme comes with Bootstrap. But let's see. Let's try class and then form control. That doesn't look very good though. I don't know. See, what if I did that and then background white? Yeah, I think I like that better. Let's go with that. So let's go with class form control and then a background of white. And it looks like we can get rid of that BR. as well. So let's see how that comes out. And then I'm going to do another one for the password. And let's see how that comes out. Okay, let's see here. Looks like the padding didn't take effect. So let's see. Inspect. Class drop down menu. Let's find it. Yeah, it's strange. You just got rid of both of these. So let's see what why that happened. Right here. Yeah, it seems to be overriding this. So let's get rid of that drop down menu class. Let's see if that takes care of it. Nope, we actually want that. Let's try the nav bar drop down. Yeah, no, we want that too. So let's see here. Right, okay. So let's see what's going on. Let's try doing this instead. X important. Let's see what's going on here. Yeah, I think I remember. I forgot to run the ES5. So here's one of the tests real quick. I'm going to run the production build. I'm pretty sure I know what's going on. I forgot to compile the ES5 modules. What do you think of context API? Eric, that's a good question. I believe they started publicizing that about a month or two ago. I don't think it's going to replace Redux anytime soon because there's so many code bases that are currently being written in Redux, production style code bases that already have like hundreds of thousands of dollars already invested into it. So for that reason alone, it's going to stick around for a while. Just kind of like how you see old school code bases today from like Angular 1 or even older. That's why you see a lot of PHP websites too still, because they were written a long time ago and they just kept it around. So I think for that reason, you're not going to see Redux go away anytime soon. But the question is, the real question is, do you think Context API will become mainstream? I do think so, yes. So it's worth looking into that. TensorFlow is the Mukesh, that's the Google machine learning platform, correct? And honestly, I'm not familiar enough with it. I have a lot of data science friends though, and they're not too keen on TensorFlow for some reason, or the few friends that I do have who are in data science. So maybe I'll ask them more about it. One of the reasons one of my friends, his name is Sean, says he wasn't too keen on it is because he says it locks you into Google's system too much. So I guess maybe that's something worth considering, but I don't want to give too much insight on that because I'm not really a data scientist or a machine learning engineer, so I don't want to lead people down the wrong path. That'd be irresponsible. So all right, there we go. So what happened here was I forgot that this I'm running ES5 modules on the back end as well. So what was happening was that the front end, these changes were not taking effect because the HTML is being loaded from the server side. So here, where is it? Gulp file. This task right here is it needs to be run to make sure that the modules load on the server side so that it's consistent. So that's, something worth remembering. Yeah, we'll just leave it at that for now. Okay, I'm going to add a little bit of margin down here. So let's go with, let's see. So we don't really need this important stuff. And then let's do margin bottom of 6 on both of these inputs. Okay, and then let's see. Let me try something real quick here. I'm going to try adding to the dev script gulp watch. Right, that's this one right here, which is going to recompile all of our React modules into ES5 every time I make a change. Let's see if that works. So I'm going to run the dev script again over here. So npm run dev. Okay, so Webpack is watching, and then I'm going to remove this margin bottom, or let's make it 8, just to give it something to do, basically. All right, so now it's going to run this, the Webpack. And all right, let's see what happens here. Nothing. Yeah, it didn't run the. All right, so let's try this then. Go watch. Okay, so I'm just running the gulp watch flag in a separate task altogether, separate like terminal window. So let's get rid of this, and then move those margin bottoms back down to 6. So now the gulp watcher is going, and the Webpack is already recompiling. So that's what's happening. And let's see here. Okay. Mustache and handlebars view engine have similar syntax. Not exactly the same, Mukesh, but I think mustache is a derivation of handlebars, or vice versa. I can't remember which one's which, but one derives from the other. So they're like very, very close cousins. I guess you can look at it that way. So I like mustache because of the partials support. But beyond that, they're like pretty much the same. So, all right, so let's see here. ES6, ES5. And what is the JS build? All right. All right, it's getting a little frustrating. Let's try what we do last time. We did npm run build. Let's try gulp ES6, ES5. So what's happening is this JS compilation script right here is taking up a lot of time, and I think it's causing too much of a bottleneck. So I'm going to remove it from this ES5 build path. Let's see here and figure out a better way to run these scripts because it's taking up a ton of time right now. So let's see. Production, development, so do style. Let's do style. And then let's do JS over here. Default will be the same, JS over here. And then that way the ES5 to ES6, ES5 script will not require the JS script as a requirement. So let's try that again now. Let's do gulp ES6, ES5. This should be a little bit faster this time, because I'm only running one task now as opposed to two. So that's certainly faster. And let's see if the changes take effect. There we go. All right, so I think we want to go with that. And then that way I should be able to just run the watch task and not have to worry about it anymore. So let's do gulp watch. Okay, and then let's make a trivial change. Let's do margin bottom 12 for this guy. And then that should re-trigger the builds on both ends. So that just got done. See, that's only 4 seconds now. And this should be done too. So now we should see an unusually large margin bottom. I don't know if that's 12, but it looks like it's more than 6. Yeah, it is 12. Okay, so it worked. So, okay, so we'll just go with that for now. Put that back to 6. All right, so sorry about that, but let's commit that change. So updated dev gulp ES6 ES5 script. Okay, so I think we're good on that. Let's now we can get back to actually doing some development. So let's just set up this actual login stuff. So I'm going to put a class here for BTN success. Actually, I like info better. I like that blue color. And they should be running, which they are. And then let's create some state in here. So let's create a little state object here. And let's go with credentials. Let's go with login credentials. And that's going to be email and password, obviously. And then let's create a function. Update credentials. This is going to come from the inputs. So let's just go ahead and do that. For now, let's just do a console log. And we are running the dev scripts, right? So we don't have to worry about not seeing the console logs this time. And then let's see what, let's make sure this is properly being triggered by the inputs. So Let's go back and find these guys, and that's going to be an on change handler. So, all right, and let's connect that to the other one as well. And let's see if that is properly going to render in the console. So, got to run the server. Okay, so we're in business. Now here, let's add email. Let's add password. And that's going to be the attribute. So that's going to be attribute. And then we can do attribute equals whatever the value is from the input. And that will let us know which input field is being typed into. The email, password. Very nice. Okay, and then let's actually update the credentials. So what updated credentials object. Don't forget, you always have to make copies. This state login credentials, and then we just assign the attribute. All right, and then this sets state login credentials, updated credentials. This can actually be a const, and then let's set up another one for login. Or yeah, that's fine. Login's good. All right, and then let's just stringify what's currently in the state. So this state login credentials, and then we now want to call this from the button. So on click this login, and that should work now. Which whenever I say that, it tends not to work, so I'll just stop saying that. All right, so let's see. Okay, so it submitted the form. I don't know if you guys saw that, but the form was inadvertently submitted because it was by default. That's what happens with the button inside of a form like this. So we're going to prevent the default. And let's try it again. Let's see here. There we go. Oh, it went a little bit fast, but here it is right here. If you missed that, and then I'm going to do some very light validation. This is by far not a thorough validation, but we can at least make sure the fields are completed. So please enter your email. Please enter your password. And then we will put the console log down here. And then let's try that. Don't forget to turn the server on again. That's on. All right. There we go. All right. Thanks, David. Doing the best I can. Just taking it one day at a time. All right, cool. Oh, I forgot to actually test the validation. So let's, there we go. Please enter your email. Please enter your password. Okay. Great. Now, normally I would do some more further email validation here using regex, but I'm not going to bore you with those details right now. So, so now here it's time to actually log in, right? So we should have an action for that. We almost certainly do. So let's check our actions component, or our file. It's not really a component. And here is the login with the credentials, and it goes to the account/login route. With the credentials. I want to remove this badge temporarily for now. So the question now is this route set up? It is. I'll just show you real quick. If you go to the account login route, it's supposed to log in. Actually, no, I lied. It's not set up. So let's set that guy up. So here is a method step for the account login route. Right, and what we want to do is grab the, let's see here, params, right? So see. So we want the email and the password, right? So const email equals params email and password. The request body is parsed out right away over here as a params variable, so we're just referencing that down here. If email equals null. So we're doing like even further validation back here. So let's return some JSON responses here. Fail. Email missing. Password missing. Okay, and then from here, what we want to do is we want to fetch the profile with that corresponding email, right? So if we look at the controllers, we have a profile controller where we can do a get passing in params, right? So let's do controllers profile get, and then email is the email passed in from the request body, and then we just finish out the promise chain, right? So error. And then let's see here, data. Okay, if there's an error, we'll just pass it back. That's easy enough. And just pass the error message. Now, this is going to be an array of profiles. Keep that in mind. So if data length, because if you look at the actual profile controller, this is the get request we're calling, which is simply just a mongoose get, and that returns an array. See that resolved an array of profiles. So just keep that in mind here. So if the length is 0, that means this user doesn't exist, right? So we want to throw an error here. So throw new error, user not found, and just fail out. And then for now, we're not going to do a password check. So check password. Just because I want to make sure that this part works first. But for now, we're just going to return the actual user. So let's do const user, and we're just going to assume the first one. So data first one. And let's do that for now. Okay, so all we're doing here is querying the user by email, and that's it. So like this is clearly not actually logging in. We're not even like installing a session token or anything like that. But could I use React with jQuery? Yeah, I see people do that in terms of Bootstrap. I mean, I'm actually using jQuery in here as well. I try to avoid it, or well, I don't know. It depends on the situation. But the answer is yes. You can use React with jQuery. What I don't do is bundle the jQuery in with my Webpack modules. I've seen a lot of people do that. Things get very hairy in that case, but using jQuery with React is fine. It's doable. All right, let's try this guy out now. So this is the account slash login path. So this should actually return some result. So let's try it out. So here, going back to our nav, let's set up the login action. And that takes the credentials argument. Right, and that is the name, right? Login. And then let's call that guy right here, this.props.login. And that is going to be the credentials from the current state. And oops. Okay, so let's try that out. So it's currently rebuilding. Looks like it's ready to go. I'm going to log in with a user who doesn't exist. So I should get an error in that case. So jamesbond@gmail.com, 123. Oops, user not found. Very nice. And let's actually parse out that error. So let's do this. Or actually, we can just console log the error like that. Even better. Okay, so that was good. That was successful. And then let's see what users I do have on the back end. This guy right here for my email. So let's try that. And remember, we're not checking the password, so no matter what I type in here, it should return the user. And here it is. That's it, it worked. All right. So now what we want to do is route that through the reducer. Don't forget that. So on the account, on the actions file, this triggers the current user received action case. If we open up the user reducer, that should be there. Might be commented out. No, it's right here. Okay. So here we go. Here it is. Let's see here. Current user received. And all right, and let's see here. Host data. Okay, so what I'm wondering is why we didn't actually see it in the reducer. All right, so I'm going to get rid of this guy right here. This props login, right? Login, dispatch actions login. That looks good. Okay, so I'm going to log in as this guy. And it goes here successfully. Oh, it's because it comes back as a user, not data. That's why. Interesting. All right, so how do we want to do this? Let's see here. Let's convert this to data. Which means I want to do the same thing on register. Data, like that. The reason being, in my actions file, every API request is parsing out a data key. And so if it's not there, it just doesn't do anything. So let's see what happens now once I parse out the data key. So Well, there it is, data. So that didn't quite fix it. So what we're looking for is this console log right here. That's what we're looking for, but we're not getting it. So that's not good. We gotta figure that out. So let's see. Got the email user data confirmation success. And we are parsing out. Let's see what we're getting here in the post. Because I'm curious to see what we're getting on this end. Obviously something is going through, otherwise the API request wouldn't work at all. So let's see what we're getting. On. Okay, so here's the response. We got success data, that's correct. And path, data, action type, and resource. So resource, action type. Okay, so this dispatch is definitely running. Well, let's confirm that. It is not running. That explains it. Okay, so current user received and yeah, you guys see that? E-I-I-E. I don't know if you see that. You see the difference? Jeez, I make this mistake all the time. All right, that's crazy. All right, let's try that again. The things you lose time on, you know, it just drives me nuts. All right, let's try it again. This is the guy we're looking for, the user reducer. So now that we know the reducer has successfully received that, we can now get back to what we were doing before. So let's get rid of these console logs. And I believe there's one in the actions. All right. This is just a test, so that can go. All right, good. So now we have the user being registered in the reducer. That's what we want. It's right here. That's good to go. So now it's you may have recalled that we didn't actually check the password. So let's do that right now. So we have our password here. Okay, right now passwords are stored in plain text. Obviously that's bad. We're going to hash them soon, but right now I'm just setting things up. So this is just a plain text comparison. So obviously we'll hash those up soon enough, but let's just get that going right now. And then inside this nav component, this console log is kind of driving me crazy. So let's get rid of that. Okay, cool. So, whoops, that was a mistake. Let's head back to the home page. Okay, so what do we have? So we have dquan at turbo360. I'm going to put in the wrong password right now, so I should get a wrong password alert. Very good. And then let's try the correct password. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. I don't know. I hate the passwords here. Okay, well, we're going to just register a new account then. So let's try that. So let's do dequan2 and dequan@yahoo.com. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. And that logs me in, so I'm going to log out now. And then that was dequan@yahoo.com and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Are you kidding me? What did I do wrong? All right, let's see here. Oh, right. I remember now. Okay, so profile controller. So here, we actually want the raw profile back because what's happening is that by not passing in this is raw flag, concealing the passwords um, when I return the profiles. So what I'm going to do instead inside the account route is we want to pass in right here true, right there, so that when we actually get these profiles, they will be returned in their raw form, including their passwords. So that's what I did wrong. Try it again. I believe it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, so now it worked. No problem, Sanjay. Hopefully you find them useful. All right, so that worked, as you can see from the actual username popping up over here. So now the last thing we got to do is head back to our account route where we're setting up the login and connect the session. Because right now I'm still not logged in. If I go to account current user, it'll show me as not logged in, right? So what we really want, that's because the session isn't set. So right here on the login, upon success, we want to set the session to the user ID, and then that'll be stored for future visits. So let's try that again. Now that I go back to the home page, again, I'm not logged in. So I'm not really logged in until the session is set. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now if I go to current user, I am logged in. That's what we want to see. And notice, by the way, the password is not showing up here. That's why I have that is raw flag inside the controllers. It makes it easier to handle things like that. And now in the nav bar, what we really want to do is once you log in right here, generally after you log in, you should go to like an account page, some sort of profile page. So we want to do window, location, href, account/me. I think that's the endpoint I set up for that. If I check the account route, yeah, I don't have anything for this. All right, so let's just set that up right now. So this is the get handlers on the account. So account/me. Both of these scenarios right here cover a non-logged in user. So if the user is not logged in, we just want to redirect to the home page because they shouldn't have access to an account page. And then here we're just gonna, for now, we're just gonna return the JSON of the current user as like a temporary UI for the account page. Eventually it'll be the actual like user account page. But right now we're just gonna do it this way. So if I go to account.me, it should be the same thing. right, and it is. So now if I go here, back to the home page, you'll see that I'm logged in already. And then if I sign out, it clears the session, right? The log out that I just did was this guy right here. I just reset the session. And then if I relog back in, so dquan@yahoo.com, 4567, it should go to that account /me with, oh, damn it, with the current user, my Yahoo account. Successfully confirming that, you know, I am in fact logged in. Okay, so now we have a full login, logout flow, which also works with the registration. So upon registration, it should go to the account.me as well. And I think that's in the sidebar. Or no, it just goes to current user. So in the sidebar, it's going to be account.me for the registration actions. And then, all right, so we did a lot of stuff just now, so it's time to commit some changes and then push it up and make sure everything works on the staging server. So let's go ahead and commit these changes because we just did a lot of stuff. So login route. Yeah, this is a lot. Let's make that one big commit and call that login flow in navbar. Let's go with that for now. So Sanjay, I'm not entirely sure what you're asking. So if you wanna rephrase your question, I had a doubt. How can we track no of users viewing a post? So I don't know. You can also check out my Slack channel. There's a lot of people on the Slack channel who are happy to answer questions like that. So feel free to just log into Slack and throw it on there, and somebody will probably try and get to it. So sidebar redirect to account /me after registration. And all of these are just ES5 modules, like the ES5 version. So I'm just going to put that into one commit. ES5 build. All right, let's see. Oh, I see. Sanjay, normally what I do is upon a page load, I just send a put command to an API handler that updates the count. Something simple like that. That's good for like low traffic websites. Once you get to like massive websites with like, you know, millions of concurrent, well, not millions, but thousands of concurrent users, then it gets a little bit more complicated, but I don't think you're dealing with anything like that right now. All right, so we have everything set up. All right, so let's do git push Heroku master and send this guy up to Heroku. And then don't forget that we also need to deploy the CDN to the Turbo environment so that we can take advantage of the CDN distribution. So the deployment requires two steps, the Heroku deployment and then the CDN deployment, the Turbo deployment. So don't forget that. And I may have forgotten to run the production build. So I'm going to actually redo this. Okay, I'm going to run the production build right now. So if you take a look at the public dist directory as well as the ES5 directory, you'll see both of them swap out. And then we're just recompiling the entire project now as a production React project, as opposed to a development build. And then I'm going to cd into the cdn directory, which is just a turbo project. If you open this up, you'll just see a turbo project, and I'm going to deploy that for the static asset distribution, and then I'm going to redeploy the Heroku project just to play it safe, and then that should complete the deployment, and then I'm going to test it on live real quick, and that's basically it. Uh-oh, running out of battery. There we go. Okay, the build is done, so now I'm going to cd into here, which again is just a turbo project. So I'm going to do turbo deploy, and we're going to deploy the static assets behind the CDN, and then I'm going to deploy the Heroku project just one more time, just to play it safe. And then we'll run through the tests real quick, just to make sure that everything is working. You know, log in, log out, stuff like that. Wrong password, things of that sort, and then we'll consider this part of the project complete. Okay, and then that's good to go. And then, damn it, desktop or CD. It's a little strange. Just getting an extra set of ES5 builds right here. Not exactly sure what went down right there, but I think it's taken care of. So All right, let's see how that looks. Okay, here it is, and no console errors, nothing like that. Let's log in. I don't know if I have the same accounts on the staging server. Well, actually, let's try the error scenarios first. So, cool. All right, and then, all right, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's try the wrong password. Good, wrong password, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Perfect. All right. And if I go back to the home page, it now has me as logged in. By the way, you see how the register form over here is now gone because I only rendered that if the user is not currently logged in. And now that I am logged in, I can also sign out. All right, that's it. Everything worked. Not one of my better sessions. I was a little sloppy today. Sorry about that. Kind of had a long day at work, so trying to keep the energy level up. So next time I'll be a little bit more sharp. But hopefully